Hi guys, it's Mrs. Waters. Today's lesson is going to be on the poetic device alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of beginning consonant sounds in a poem. So we are going to be looking at a couple of poems where you're noticing the beginning of each of the words in the poem tend to start with the same letter. We see this a lot in tongue twisters, such as she sells seashells by the seashore, or Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. We see a lot of that when you hear the repetition of the sounds. In case you couldn't remember what consonants are, I did put a little note down here. Consonants are all the alphabet letters except A, E, I, O, U. Those are vowels. Okay, so we are looking for those really hard sounds and the repetition of those hard sounds that are at the beginning of each of the words. To start off, I am going to start reading a poem called The Siege of Belgrade. I had to practice this a couple times. This is a tongue twister in itself, but it is a famous alliteration poem. So I'm going to go through it, and you may not understand all the words, but appreciate that you are seeing the repetition of beginning sounds at the beginning of each of the words. And this guy did both vowels and consonants. So here we go. An Austrian array, awfully arrayed, boldly by battery, besieged Belgrade. Cossack commanders, cannonading come, dealing destruction's devastating doom. Every endeavor, engineers essay, for fame, for fortune, forming furious fray. Gaunt gunners grapple, giving gashes good, heaves high his head, heroic hardihood. Ibrahim, Islam, Ishmael, imps in ill, jostle John Jerovlitz, Jem, Joe, Jack, Jill. Kick, kindling, Kutuzov, king, kinsman, kill, labor low levels, lofty its longest lines. Men march mid-moles, mid-mounds, mid-murderous mines. Now night falls nigh, now needful nature nods. Opposed, opposing, overcoming odds. Poor peasants, partly purchased, partly pressed. Quick quaking, quarter, quarter, quickly quest. Reason returns, recalls redundant rage, saves sinking soldiers, softens seniors sage. Truce, Turkey, truce, truce, treacherous Tartar train, unwise, unjust, unmerciful Ukraine. Vanish, vow vengeance, vanish victory vain. Wisdom wails war, wails warring words. What were Xerxes, Xantippe, Ximenes, Xavier? Yet Yassi's youth, ye yield your youthful yest. Zealously, zanies, zealously, zeal's zest. I have to take a break after that one. I liked this because the author of this poem, if you noticed, he decided to take each letter of the alphabet, and you're looking at each letter of the alphabet all the way down. He alliterates each one in each line. So while it does go a little bit beyond just the initial consonant sounds, he's even doing initial vowel sounds here. For the purposes of today's poem, we'll stay away from a lot of our initial vowel sounds just because it's easier. We're going to be taking a look at a creature alliteration poem. I am going to give you the directions on how to write this on Google Classroom. So if you look at the online homework number 10 guidelines, it will tell you what you need to have for each line of your poem. We're doing a 6-line poem called a creature alliteration poem. So you're going to pick a letter that you would like to alliterate, and you're going to be coming up with a lot of words that start with that letter. Okay, so what I decided to write mine on was I came up with the name of a creature that's been in a video game that I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of Witcher 3 and really getting into it. So one of the creatures on the game is called the Leshen. So this is not my word. I wanted to make sure I gave credit to the game writers of Witcher 3 that they came up with this. But what I would like to do is see you come up with some of your own creature names. But if you're inspired by some other creature from a book or from a movie or from a video game, you can use that too. But anyway, when we start off this type of poem, you start off by, in line 1, explaining what your creature is. So in this case, I said, this is a Leshen. There's line 1. You just tell me which your creature is. The second one is where you give me at least 4 alliterating words that tell you where your creature lives. So that means at least 4 of my words in this sentence need to start with the letter L, because I've decided to alliterate the letter L. Now, I don't count your creature as one of those words, okay? So while I have lessons here, the rest of, I need to have at least 4 different words that have L's at the beginning of them, describing where he lives. So lessons live near the lakeside in little lavish lodgings. So I've got live, I've got lakeside, I've got little, I have lavish, and I have lodgings. All of these start with the letter L. I showed off a little bit and I did more than 4. I'm only asking you to have 4 of them. You may also have a hard time coming up with words. Some of these were actually words I had to look up on Google. Like you can look up places to live that start with L, or action words that start with L, or whatever letter you're deciding you're going to alliterate. It will really help. And you might come up with some new vocabulary words you've never seen before that you're going to learn new ones. Lessons, on our next line, we're going to talk about what the lessons eat. Lessons lick lemons and lap up lamb, liver, and ladyfingers. Our 4th line, you're going to talk to me about something that your creature likes to do. So it says, lessons like to lacerate landscapers and laugh at leaves. So in addition to my word lesson, that doesn't really count as part of my alliteration. I've got like, lacerate, landscapers, laugh, and leaves. Again, I showed off a little bit and I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did 5 instead of 4. Our 5th line is where you're just going to give me another something about your creature. You can say anything you want, but you're going to try to alliterate that same letter 4 times if you can. So I've got lessons launch lazy lions into the lake when they're lugubrious. I use the word lugubrious because it's one of Mr. Wells' favorite words, and it means gloomy. So lessons are launching those lazy lions into the lake when they're feeling gloomy on a gloomy day. Our last line is where you just give me a description of something that your creature did, and you want to use those 4 alliterating words. So I've got this lesson littered the land with my literature labels. How lame. Again, if you go to the online homework 10 guidelines, it does tell you what you need to have for each line. So you don't need to watch this video over and over again, but you can kind of see how I've constructed this one. And as an additional challenge, if you'd like, you can add a picture of your creature. This is the picture of the lesson from Witcher 3. I think this is just the coolest looking creature. So I put him down there. To do that, you can go to Insert Image, and you pick where you want to pull your image from, and you can do this from your phone or from your Chromebook. So basically you can take a screenshot of something or copy paste or whatever, you know, and put a picture in there if you want, but I'm not making you have a picture if you don't want to put one in there. Okay, so good luck today, guys. I can't wait to read your creature alliteration poems. See you later.